Alright boys, it's good to be back. Finally back in Scarlet, and it feels amazing. I can't really even put it into words how it feels to drive this car again. I think that most men usually feel this excited, or I don't know, usually feel this much emotion when they're getting married. But for me, this is pretty much that like level of excitement. So as a welcome back to Scarlet, I'm gonna be doing something that I don't really do, just like sit and talk and drive. I saw Royce's video where he was explaining how he got his Civic, and I actually really enjoyed that video, so I figured I'd kind of replicate it for you guys, but for how I got my Civic. So in order for me to tell that story, we have to go way back. I'm talking June of 2015, maybe? Yeah, 2015. I was with my mom, and I didn't have a car at the time. I had just gotten my first real job, like at a business, whatever, you know. And I was trying to get to work. So my mom took me and we went to a dealership in the city. I knew I wanted a stick shift car. I knew I wanted, at the time, a Jetta because they were reasonably priced. You know, I thought like, okay, Volkswagen, whatever. So I was in the market for the 1.8 liter turbo. However, I couldn't find any that were reasonably priced, that were in good shape. So I had to settle for a 2.0 naturally aspirated. It was fun, liked the car. So I drove that for a while. I learned stick on it. Like I said, I bought it in the middle of the city. I didn't know how to drive stick at the time, so I drove the car home without knowing how to drive stick. And it was sketchy, but I didn't stall on the way home. I stalled in the test drive, but I did not stall on the way home from the dealer. So I had to think of a plan for that car, you know, like, am I gonna build that car? What am I gonna do to it? And it's a Jetta, you know what I mean? Like a 2.0 Jetta. I wasn't trying to get serious. Like, I kind of still am not really like boosting cars and stuff. But I was interested in like bolt-ons, you know, some stance, a little bit of like lowering, some wheels, a little bit of fitment game. And I just didn't think a Jetta was the one for me. So I drove that car for about a year and a half, I think. Learned stick, like I said, it's a great car. Bought it in the middle of the city, didn't know how to drive stick, drove it home. It was an experience. Loved that car. I still love the Jetta. I was driving home one day, and I was passing the Honda dealership that I passed every time I was on my way home, and this car just appeared. This Civic appeared in that parking lot, and I saw it, and I was like, holy shit, that's cool. So I went to the dealership, asked if I could test drive, and they told me no. They said I had to be 21 to test drive it, or I had to bring a parent. I think that they were just being assholes to me, to be honest with you. Just because I was like a 19-year-old kid, and they're like, why would I let this 19-year-old kid drive this like sports car? I think that they didn't think that I was serious about buying it. So anyway, test drove it with my mom a couple days later, and I found that third gear was popping out, which you guys already know. I still have the issue. I'm getting it fixed soon. But third gear was popping out in the test drive, and I called them out on it. I was like, hey, third gear's popping out, and they were asking like 68, 70 for this car, and the transmission shot. And I'm like, I'm not giving you $6,800 for this car. So what I did is I offered $4,000 plus my Jetta as trade-in. Like I said, my Jetta was, I don't know if I told you the year, it was a 2001 Jetta. They said no, they were like, frig off, and I was like, all right, whatever. I happened to be very lucky and had a friend that worked at that dealership, and I told him that I was interested in the car, and I told him that I found out the third gear was grinding and popping out. So he test drove the car, and he noticed it too. Told his boss, and his boss was like, oh shit, what are we gonna do with a car that we just took as a trade-in? This car had just been traded in, and it's got a shot transmission. Like, they frigged up, you know? So I get a Facebook message from my friend 2 days later, and he says to me, they accepted your offer. $4,000 for the car plus your trade-in. And I said, are we talking $4,000 cash out the door, like taxes, plates, everything covered? And he's like, no, they want you to pay all that. And I'm like, I'm not doing it unless everything out the door, $4,000 cash. I'll write you a cashier's check, and that's the deal. And he said, let me talk to my boss, I'll get back to you. Get another message the next day. My offer had been accepted. I got this car for $4,000 cash plus my trade-in. My trade-in was valued at $500. Now, $4,000 might seem like a lot of money to people, and to other people, it might not seem like a lot of money. And that's fine. Everyone's at a different point in life. to me, it was a ton of money. Saving up all that money on my own to buy this car it's one of my like biggest accomplishments in life, honestly. Like, I've graduated high school, like whatever, everyone graduates high school, but you know, not all 19-year-olds save their money and find something that they truly want, you know. Like, this is a car that I've liked since I was like 13, playing Forza 4, and like, I don't know, I'm just so happy that I have this car, and I'm so happy to be back in it and just enjoying life, driving around. Like, it completely changes my mood. Any of you guys who think it's not possible to attain a car that you want, try. Just do it. Stop making excuses, save your money, work your ass off like I did, and just buy a car. Alright boys, this is kind of a short one probably, but as always, I'm Yanni Knowles. You guys are the best. Have a nice day.